transition program and administer all the required documents to the MDEQ. The one-year total would be $142,560, or that would be $11,880 a month. For the 2-year monthly fee is $594, $5,940 per month, which totals the same amount of $142,560.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Harrison?
I'd like to make a motion to approve a 2-year contract.
Support. Motion by Councilman Garza, supported by Councilwoman Cross to approve the 2-year contract.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Johnson?
we had a lot of discussion on this last meeting about keeping it in-house and, cost, the mayor, and administration came back with that. We are so far behind on this that something has to be done. I don't agree with it. I think it's something that can be done. The program is on autopilot. But we have to satisfy the DEQ. We have to have the citizens safe in the city of Taylor. So I'm in support of this. I had talked with the mayor, and the mayor can elaborate a little bit that at some point here in the near future, training is going to be done at the DPW. Try to slowly implement it back. All the systems that we had are now gone, not from this administration, but from the last administration. So this is just going to get us caught up.
Madam Chair?
Councilman Garza?
Yeah, I had a lot of the same questions last meeting about this agreement. I think after this 2-year agreement with HydroCorp, we can look at, kind of doing preventative maintenance from there as a city. I think once this agreement is up and we're caught up with this maintenance, I think we could take a look at that and see what makes sense for the city going forward.
Madam Chair, as we discussed a little bit last night, and as I talked to Councilman Johnson a little bit more today, we will provide some parallel training, so the option remains at the end of this contract to potentially bring it in-house. And of course, at that point, we will do the cost analysis before we make that decision. But having the option teed up, we'll be in that position to do that. At this point in time, as this program is basically a start-over project, again, we still feel that the best recommendation at this point is to move forward with the partnership with HydroCorp.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 21, we have a motion to approve the extension of the current towing contract with area towing and recovery for the attached document. Motion to approve. Support. Motion to approve by Councilman Cross, support by Councilman Mussolini. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, I asked about, should there be a date on this? To put it on administration to get it back to us in a timely manner. Otherwise, this could go on forever, like forever.
I don't think the administration will know that to happen, and my fear is if we do have a date on it, and we don't have an approved new contract, we will be without a contract at all.
Madam Chair, the RFP is near completion. We have a meeting with the police chief later this week. The final comments, we're waiting for her input. It'll be wrapped up and placed out likely within the next 2 weeks. It'll likely go through a 2-week vetting process through the RFP, and we'll bring it back at that point in time. I'm guessing sometime in probably the second meeting in November or first meeting in December. But I will caution everyone, the contract, the RFP, the price structure will be a very controlled price structure, and it will be bid out with the residents' protection in mind.
Is there any further discussion?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. I guess this question could be either to Councilman Garza, Councilwoman Cross, or Councilman Missouri. Can you just give me a little insight or tell me about the committee that was created? I guess Councilman Garza, if you.
Absolutely. So going back, Madam Chair, to the chair, I'm refresh your memory about what month, Dan, we were trying to November last year, asked to come together to kind of look at this RFP process and make some recommendations as far as how we were going to develop this and going forward. So we did, myself, Councilman Missouri, Councilwoman Croft, the mayor, as well as police chief and a couple of others came together to make a recommendation as far as what we saw fit to go into the RFP, making sure that it's fair for everyone, making sure that it's a good document, and make that recommendation to send up to the mayor's office, which we did and completed that process. So that's kind of what the process looked like. We made the recommendation, and I believe now the mayor's getting into it and kind of making it complete. So,
Madam Chair, and the committee did make a lot of great recommendations. However, we dug a little bit deeper into the pricing matrix, and we were not satisfied after doing some comparisons. So that's really where our focus point is. We're looking at controlled pricing, serviceability, and the ability to perform. And so based on that, most of the recommendations the committee built in as far as their package will be incorporated. But again, the really major difference that we'll see is what I would call controlled pricing, because it will specify everything that can be charged and at what rate. A lot of our, the current contract is 9 years old. It has a lot of open-ended opportunities that I'm not comfortable with. Again, we've learned from the last 3 years of various complaints that have hit my office or hit my desk. So what we're going to do is finalize now the pricing matrix and put out the RFP. And we'll bring back that document for you guys. And we'll also bring a summary of what the different changes were, so everyone can see, the price structure in the previous agreement versus the new price structure going forward. And there will be a lot of changes.
Madam Chair, again, I'm not understanding why we shouldn't have an end date on this. Couldn't we just approve it again to go month to month? Let's say we approve it till January 31st.
There's no difference. If we're extending it, as soon as we get the next RFP, whoever the mayor brings forward at that point will replace the old with the new.
Well, Madam Chair, if I could, I don't know that I agree with that, because if a recommendation is brought forward and the recommendation fails, then it reverts back to the current contract, which is 9 years old. So I agree that I think there should be a termination date on this. And if the RFP is not satisfied by that date, council could make the recommendation to extend it once again at that point in time.
Madam Chair, I guess my next question would be, is the end of this contract was November 1st. How come we haven't gotten a new one yet?
Madam Chair, we're not at November 1st yet.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Missouri?
I don't see a value in having an end date, and I don't see a concern with council turning down a contract. If we have an end date and we turn down a contract and a majority of council wants to have a contract, we're going to end up extending the current contract until a new contract is in effect. So we might as well just say we're going to keep the current contract in effect until a new contract is approved. Otherwise, we could go through a series of extensions where we're going to do one extension. This extension could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year, depending on when the new contract, but unless somebody convinces me that there's value in having an expired contract, we might as well take the steps today to ensure that we always have a valid contract.
Well, Madam Chair, much like the previous deal, although that was a long, lengthy contract, 9 years, I believe that having it go into perpetuity is a little bit dangerous, and I don't recommend it. But again, we will vet the RFP regardless of what City Council does tonight. We'll take it out and bid it competitively, and we will bring the best deal for the City of Taylor forward.
Madam Chair, I just have a comment that if you realize that the contract was in place for 9 years, however, it wasn't a 9-year contract, it was a contract with extensions, and it did have amendments to those extensions, where we modified pricing and controlled customer service. So I'd just like to point that out, when it is a 9-year contract, nothing being looked at ever.
I would also like to say that we're on board with Mr. Mayor, that we want the best contract possible, correct?
Madam Chair, and I understand it. I think the concern is that anytime it doesn't identify an end date, I mean, I just don't want to see the pricing that is going to be incorporated into this RFP it will have a lot of comparables to other cities, and it will just look very different. I don't think any of the people bidding on this are going to it's not going to look as lucrative, including the current vendor.